All right, everyone, welcome into another episode T&J Sports Podcast. We are going over NFL Week 4. We got Bengals coverage, we got Broncos coverage, and we'll go over our picks for the week, recap on our fantasy weeks, and just hit on all the high spots of the NFL over Week 4. Drizzy is here. T-Stalls on the other side, waiting to hit up those Broncos. What's going on in Denver, dude?
Um, Not much. Not not Russ cooking. That's definitely not happening here. Russ is actually undercooking a lot, and this season is early, but I think we learned a lot in in these past 4 games, and that's our offense has no clue what the heck it's doing. Our coach Hackett may be not the guy, and he actually hired another guy to come in and our to be our offensive kind of like connoisseur, assistant offensive coordinator. And offense actually it did look better. I think we scored our most points of the year. Yeah, our most points of the year, which is 23. Um, and our Russell Wilson did play a little bit better in this game. We played against the Raiders. Sorry, I didn't just say that, but we played against the Raiders, division rival. And you look to go into this game, we're tied number one with Kansas City, kind of by default there. Nothing that we can say we did to get us that number one spot other than beat Houston and San Francisco. But we go into this game, I'm thinking like, oh man, the Raiders are 0-3. We'll take care of business and get this win. Derek Carr is not anything special. I've said this in the last video. He has too many weapons on his team and he doesn't do anything with them. And that's until he plays against the Broncos. And of course, Derek Carr did pretty good with us this week. Let's see his stats. Derek Carr had 21 of 34, and he went 188-yard passing. And I mean, that's not good, but it was good enough to beat the Broncos. And Russell Wilson actually probably had his best game. He won 17 of 25, 237 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, but we just still didn't look great. And I get it. It's learning pain, and it's part of the season, and we're growing and learning. We're getting better. But now we have another hit on our roster, and we lose not just, our best running back in Javonte Williams to ACL tear all year. We lost Randy Gregory. I believe, thankfully, he's only out a couple weeks, but our defense, which is, top 3 in the NFL, we lose one of our best pass rushers. Man. See what I mean? But we lose our pass rusher and Randy Gregory, and then we lose who, in my opinion, we should be giving the ball to probably like 70% of the time, and Javonte Williams. So it sucks, man. We lose him. He's a great young running back, and you see this a lot with young guys in the league. They tear their ACL, but I'm praying for the guy, praying he can bounce back next year, and hopefully we actually give him the ball next year. Hopefully we have a competent offense that knows what to do with the ball. Especially with having a veteran player and Russell Wilson, you would think our offense will play better, and it just hasn't. I'm hoping this is early season woes, and that we go over this hump and we just find a way to play better, because we are definitely not. We're not pretenders. We're still on that line of contenders, but I think if we drop this week, which we have, let's see, who do we have? We have
The Colts on Thursday.
We have a Colts this week. Yeah, on Thursday. We have Thursday night game this week against the Colts, who are struggling on their own. They just lost to the Titans this past week. So this could be a bounce back win for us. Our offense can hopefully get it going. It's at home. Your prime time again, which we've been getting a lot of these prime time games because we have prime time players that aren't playing like prime time, and all Russell Wilson can say is we're doing good. And I don't think we're doing good, Russ. We're not doing good at all.
Yeah, definitely lackluster. I think you could say you could be disappointed in Denver so far this season. as
Mhm.
well as that division as a whole. Because
Yeah.
when you looked at that division coming in and how competitive it was last year, um, the final game of the season between the Chargers and Raiders was a play-in game for the
Mhm.
playoffs. Then, so everyone coming back, plus then, Adam Russell Wilson looked like the division in football, and it just hasn't been there this week. I know I see here Russell expects to play on Thursday night.
Yeah.
He was listed as limited on the injury report both days this week so far with a right shoulder injury. Um, Looks like he'll be a full go, but even then, what else? What's going to be? What is he playing through, and how much is it going to affect him
Yeah.
going into a Colts team that he's like you said lost to the Titans this week, um, which has weapons with Michael Pittman, has a above average quarterback with Matt Ryan, definitely not in his prime. Is that game in Denver? Or is that game in
It's
Indianapolis?
in Denver. It's in Denver. I wish it was in Indy. I would go to it, even though I'll be disappointed. I'll still enjoy my time in Indianapolis and watching my Broncos. But yeah, we're in Broncos country, so I'm hoping Russell Wilson is good to ride. And I, I mean, man, there's not much I really want to harp on it. I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting this year. I mean, if you go back to our videos before the season started, there was so much hype around us. I even had so much hype for this season, and I honestly wanted this team and to kind of like propel me through all the rest of my other teams playing under par, which Louisville is not helping me out, and now Denver's not helping me out. Um, and then if you haven't seen, NBA preseason started, which we'll start a podcast for that as well. But my Phoenix Suns lost to the 30.
Adelaide.
Yeah. And I don't look too much into that. I'm not going to. It's preseason. I'll take it as everybody we're so good, everybody's starting to hate on us. So I'll take it as that. But keeping it to football, there's a lot I want to see in this game. Obviously, I want to see Russell Wilson out there healthy is the main thing, but I want to see this offense move the ball. We have Melvin Gordon, and that's our prime running back right now with Williams being out for the rest of the year. We're going to have to find a way to, I don't know, we're going to have to find a way to push through. Thankfully, it's against the Colts, who, Taylor has not played well at all this year. I picked him, number one overall in fantasy football, and he has not lived up to it this year, but can't really live up to it when your passing game is not really opening up the game for you to run. So, Jonathan Taylor hasn't been able to do much this year, and we have one of the top rushing defenses in the league. So I really don't see Jonathan Taylor going off against us this game. But like I said about the Raiders, leave it to the Broncos to make them look like they're somewhat decent. So
Yes, thank you for that because Josh Jacobs got me 34.5 running all over your really good run defense that you just said.
yeah.
So thank you for that one.
Oh, well, you're
Um,
welcome on behalf of my Broncos. You're welcome.
yeah, I just enjoying a little bit of misery from your teams all over the place. But I say misery from my own team with the Bengals has turned a tide a little bit. Started out 0-2, won 2 games in a row, beat Miami this week at home on Thursday night. Those uniforms were all that they lived up to. They lived up to the hype that they had. That was a great atmosphere. Looked like a great game to attend. So, um, but I'll take it. I mean, it looks like we are back into it. Burrow had 2 touchdowns. Joe Mixon got a touchdown finally. He got the running game going a little bit. Um, and T. Higgins looks like wide receiver one for the Bengals. I mean, I know Chase is getting double teamed out there.
Yeah.
I know they're not but with Chase, Higgins, and Boyd, there's only so much double teaming you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's going to get some, and T. Higgins has been that dude this year for Burrow to throw to. So Bengals won 27-15. Obviously, we all know Tua went out. That
Scary.
head injury. Should have
Crazy.
never been playing in that game. Should have never went back in the game on Sunday. The Dolphins can try and blame it on some non-team doctor that let him go back in Sunday, but at the end of the day, you had the final call. You
Yep.
should have known what it looked like, and then to turn around and let him play again on Thursday, um, that's just irresponsible from the Dolphins in general.
I think that kind of
So I know
speaks on
he's
their
out.
organization, man. We said this during the offseason with their owner being suspended and whatnot. That just speaks on the Dolphins organization. It looks bad, man. And I actually like their coach, but it looks bad on the Dolphins organization.
Yeah, I mean it does at this point in the year, like you said, everything from the off season now moving into this, it just does. It's not looking good for Miami. Two is out this week. You have Teddy
Mhm.
B starting at their game this week.
Go
Um,
Lords.
but
Happy to
and I
see
mean he looked pretty decent. He threw for almost 200 yards in about a half of the football game.
hmm
Um, so we'll see what the Dolphins can do moving forward. But happy to see the Bengals
Yeah.
on the come up this year going into our game on. So you all had Broncos Thursday night football. We're going to end the week off with the Bengals on Sunday night football against Baltimore. It's at Baltimore. Ravens defense looks like dog shit. Lamar looks good for the first half. I'll say the offense looks good for the first half.
hmm
Um, not all on him. They haven't really had much of a running game besides him for a couple years now. And they didn't give him any receivers to catch the football besides Mark Andrews. So, I mean, I think the Bengals are going to roll in. I think they're going to win this week. I know we were talking last night. Recent history, last year owned the Ravens twice. Um, I know those two, the teams don't really like each other. Um, I don't even think the Ravens like themselves right now. I know Marcus Peters and John Harbaugh were going at it
hmm
um, the end of that game against the Bills, this past weekend. But I mean, all in all, it comes down to kind of correlates that end of the Ravens game with kind of the Kentucky game where Mark Stoops wasn't letting anybody kick the football because everything was going bad. Um, John Harbaugh's chasing points because his defense can't stop anybody, let
Yeah.
alone try and stop Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Devin Singletary coming out playing the slot, you
hmm
know, acting like a damn wide receiver when he's running back. So, it, you know, it it comes down to the Ravens got to play better. Um, those guys have been together for years, so they know how to play. They know what to do. It's not like some crazy new scheme has been put in place. At least I don't think. So
Nah.
I think the Bengals will get a win. We'll get into that later. Well, no, I'm feeling good about the Bengals going into Week 5.
hmm
Um, what about any other storylines from this past week besides two? I mean, the Eagles went down 14-0 early. They
Yeah.
came back and beat the Jags.
Great game.
Um,
Great game.
pretty good.
Jalen Hurts,
And
he's the real deal, man. He is the real deal. You see him last night on the Manning cast?
I did not know.
He's a great guy, man. I really hope he continues to be successful in this league. He's that kind of player you want to play for and with. So I hope he continues to do well, stay healthy for one. And stats wise, he's not looking terrible. Could be a little bit better. He has 4 touchdowns with 2 interceptions, which that's not great. But I mean, he's leading his team to wins with his legs and his full athletic ability. He's top 5 in passing. He's actually number 5 with 1,000 yards passing. So he's looking great. AJ Brown is a great receiver to have, and so is Devontae Smith. And they have a good running back in Sanders, and their defense is pretty locked in. The Eagles are still up there and one of the favorites for the NFC, and then I'm sticking with the Bills. with them getting that win against the Ravens, like I said, for Kentucky, it's a bounce back win. It's something you learn from. I think the Bills learned from their loss to the Dolphins, and that showed this week with the Ravens. They faced adversity and they were able to bounce back and ultimately won the game, by a field goal with 2 seconds left. I mean, that's great clock management by their coach, getting the ball down there and just, Ravens were out of timeouts. Let the clock roll. Let the clock roll. 2 seconds, timeout, game winning field goal. Lamar Jackson in that game, he did not look like MVP Lamar. At least at some points. Some points he did, and some points he didn't. Main point I'm talking about, main part of it was when he threw the interception with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left on 4th and goal. I want to put that all on Lamar, but I think that's on John Harbaugh. Why are you going for 4th and goal on the 2-yard line? And why are you throwing the ball? You have one of the best rushing quarterbacks. You have one of the best rushing teams, in the league. Why are you throwing the ball on the 2-yard line? And why are you throwing the ball at all on 4th and goal? Why don't you just kick the field goal with the greatest kicker of all time and at least go up at that point? So I think John Harbaugh is going to take a lot from that loss. And Lamar, that was a bad throw, but coach didn't put you in the right predicament by, not say, hey, no, Lamar, we're not going for this. We're going to kick the field goal. We're going to take the points. So there's a lot of blame to go around.
I can half agree with you on that. I think in that scenario, as we saw, the defense can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
So in that scenario,
in that game they were stopping them. So.
Not the second half though. I mean, you're up, you're up 17 going into halftime. You don't score a lick in the second half, and they're tied the game on you.
Yeah, but their offense is struggling, and you put it in your offensive hand that didn't score a point in the third quarter and all the fourth quarter, all the way to that 4 minutes, 15 seconds left in the game. You have a chance to get some points, and you elect not to when your defense only gave up 10 points in the game, and it's tied at that point. Why not just, hey, let's go ahead by 3. Our defense is playing lights out. They gave up a touchdown, but hey, we'll get a chance because if they kick a field goal to tie the game with timeout, all right, we got overtime, cool. Or they go ahead and score a touchdown on us, we'll get another chance to get the ball and then go for on that 4th and go. If we need that touchdown, but
yeah,
I think their defense was playing pretty good against the best offense in the league, and you held them to 20 points at that moment, and you elect to go for a back of the, which Lamar, if you watch that replay, Lamar was getting pressured, but that pass was there. He could have hit it. So, it was the right call play wise because he was open in the back of the end zone. It was just on Lamar Jackson not seeing it because he was getting pressured. So,
I blame it half on Harbaugh, for not taking the points.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is the interception. Because if you don't get it, it's incomplete, throw it out of the back of the end zone. Now you're making them drive 98 yards down the field.
Yeah.
You got them backed up, on their own goal line. Stuff happens down there all the time. But then the interception in the end zone brings that to what, the 20, 25? Now they, at that point, they only got to go 30, 40 yards to get in field goal range, to win the game, instead of 50 yards to get in field goal range. So, the interception is what hurt going for it.
Yeah.
Going for it wouldn't have been bad if the pass fell incomplete. It wouldn't look as bad. Then your defense, who has played good, hasn't, given up a lot in the second half or, in total, and was slowing them down, had a chance to keep them pinned deep, maybe get a punt, get the ball back. Yeah. So I think that was the problem there. The interception was the problem. So it's half on Harbaugh for going for it. I don't blame him for chasing the points because if your defense can't get a stop at that point, then it's tied. You go to overtime. You get a touchdown, whatever. The interception is what hurt, and what makes it look bad is because they started on the 20, 25 instead of the 2.
Yeah. And we can always look at it. We can always be the coach after the fact. During the game, if I'm the head coach, I'm going to put it in in my opinion, the best player on the field right now. I mean, obviously Josh Allen's the best player on the field, but at that point, offense versus defense, what's out there? Lamar Jackson, the best player out there on that field, put the ball in his hands and go get in the end zone. I just wouldn't have made it a pass. You're on the 2-yard line. Yeah, probably one of the best fullbacks in the game. J.K. Dobbins is there. You have a decent O-line that can get it done. Mark Andrews is a blocker. If anything, I'm stacking that lineup, and I'm like, Lamar, jump over this or get behind our guys and go. Or if you want to throw the ball that bad, fake the play action and just dump it to Andrews. I mean, yeah, the interception is bad, but it's Lamar trying to make a great play, make something out of nothing there. Well, there was something there. He just missed it, making something out of his mishaps, and he just created even worse play by making the interception. As to your point, getting them at the 20-yard line instead of 2-yard line. So yeah, it's learning pains, man. I think the Ravens will learn a lot from that game. It's only game 4, so they're going to learn a lot from that. And it seems like they always have these kind of games throughout the year, and you're like, they're going to learn from this, and they're going to be better down the road. But then down the road, they make some kind of plays like that in the playoffs or before the season's over with that cost them a lot. So I'm hoping they really do learn this year. And Lamar actually, going into his 5th year, he learned from that play and from that moment to know, coach, I want the ball. I want to put it in the end zone if we run it, but let's take the points. Let's take the points right now. Let's go for 3. Give our defense a chance to stand up and make a stand. And if they don't, I will take care of this and I'll get us in the end zone because I feel like Lamar can do that. But
what I want to see is I'm looking at the play right here. I've just watched it a few times. What I want to see in this moment in the drop back is he's got a nice pocket. Your outside rushers are collapsing the outside, and he retreats 4 more yards and then rushes out to the right.
Yep.
What I'd like to see in that moment, maybe step up a little bit because he had 3 O-line in the middle with only 2 rushers. At this point right here, where I've got it paused, it looks like if he steps up, he could maybe break out left. But also, what I want to see in that situation in the 2-yard line, I want to see an RPO option. He's in the shotgun. He's got no one in the backfield with him. I want to test the defense a little bit. I want to slow those edge rushers down a little bit, make them decide what they're going to do instead of throwing 5 wide out there on the 2-yard line. They just dropped 8 back.
That's the same thing I was telling you a couple weeks ago with the Broncos, and they're off. I get it. It's a passing game. I get it. But football is football, man. You got to put bulk on bulk, and you got to run that ball on the 2-yard line, especially with the game on the line like that. Like you said, I'd rather run that ball there, get stopped on the 1-yard line, and make their offense have to get out of the end zone and go the full length of the field, to your point. So I think that was bad play calling, and that was a bad play by Lamar Jackson. That play, like I said, I think it was kind of like a pig play to set up a back of the end zone. I forgot who it was. I think it was Duvernay going to the back pylon. He missed it. It was wide open, and that safety had enough time to look and say, "Oh, he's going there." Run is over there. Poyer goes over there and gets the interception. If he steps up in that pocket, I'd like to see him just. I feel like he didn't know what play, or he knew what play was going there, but he predetermined who he was going to go to, and it wasn't open, and he panicked, and he rushed out of the pocket. So, and I think that happens a lot with Lamar, and his leg gets him out of it. But at that point, the defense had the step on him. They were on that blitz. They were ready to attack, and he kind of got rushed, and and at the last point, he's like, "Oh, back pylon's open," and he just threw it up and got intercepted. So. Again, it's learning time. It's learning.
Dude's open in the back of the end zone for good. Yep. A good few seconds, and he's back there.
He waves his hand and looks like the safety's over there. Throw me the ball, and that was enough time for the safety to say, "Oh, he's open. Let me get over there." And yeah.
Also, Lamar couldn't step into that. Threw it off his back foot, so it wasn't as powerful. Yeah. Didn't follow through. He had to launch it over in edge rusher's hands. A lot went wrong. I want to see an RPO on that end. If you're not, give him the option of running or passing. It was a good play. Dude was open.
Yeah.
it just wasn't executed. I'd like to see
Poor
him step
execution
up
on
in that pocket, and take, go into that more passing role that he says he has, which we know he mostly has. It's just redefining those skills as a pocket passer
Yeah.
to be able to step up in that pocket, keep the pocket clean, and then because if he was able to step up, he'd have had a dart to the back of the end zone. His
Mhm.
arm can make it there,
Yeah.
and we might not be talking about this right now.
I think it's
So
a case of a IQ. I mean, not IQ. I think it's just growing problem, growing pains with him. Because you can't forget Lamar Jackson is 23, 24, I believe. He's a young kid out there playing, and he's got to learn. I mean, yeah, he won MVP, but he's learning to be that pocket passer, and he's learning to be the ultimate QB, not just the ultimate athlete. So he learned right there. He learned the hard way, and there's plenty of those Tom Brady moments. There's plenty of those Peyton Manning moments, Patrick Mahomes moments that he just had right there, and he's going to learn from it. I think he's still having an MVP season. If Jalen Hurts keeps it going, it obviously going to go to Jalen Hurts because the team's winning. But Lamar Jackson, I think, will step up this week. And unfortunately, it's against the Bengals, but fortunately for him, it is against the Bengals because every game he's played in, he's 5-1 since being in the league. He didn't play in the second game last year because he was injured, and the first time they played against him, he wasn't the starter. Joe Flacco was. So he's 5-1. So let's see if he can make it 6-1.
yeah, I definitely. I think he'll have a Lamar type game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just think
Lamar,
that Bengals defense is it's a good it's not bad. I
yeah,
say that
it's not.
we've got edge rushers, we got middle linebackers. They all complement each other well. Von Bell, Jesse Bates,
Mm-hmm.
Awuzie. All in all, top to bottom, the defense is probably a top 10 defense at its peak in the NFL, I would say. So I think it'll be a good Sunday night game um, this week. So we had talked about that game. Not really much else in terms of good games. The Packers Patriots game was lackluster.
Yeah,
Um,
it was
yeah,
something to watch.
everything else. Seahawks beat the Lions in the Geno Smith Jared Goff shootout, 48-5.
High scoring game
Uh,
right there, man. I think it was
yeah,
the high scoring
so
game of the year so far. So
so we'll move on. Let's recap our records from week 4,
yeah,
NFL Pick'em. So, uh, you know, we did pretty all right. I went 9-7 on the week, and you went 500 at 8-8. So not too shabby. I'm starting to come into form with my NFL picks. Not doing too bad anymore.
yeah,
Um, the Browns. We both had the Browns. We both had the Lions. Who those are kind of toss-up games.
mm-hmm.
All in all, we both thought the Bucks would do something better, and I think we were both praying a little bit when we took the Texans over the Chargers.
Yeah.
Um, so,
I neither did
um, all in
individually.
all, for the most part, yeah, we didn't do too bad this past week. On the year, I am 26-37, and you are 28-35.
Catching up.
So,
Catching.
not yeah, I'm catching up with you a little bit, but all in all, I wouldn't say it's too bad on the year, picking every single game every week.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, let's see how we do
moving to
this
week
week.
5 games. Yes, so
Week
week
5.
5 games. Starting off with your Broncos Thursday night
Yeah.
against Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Broncos are at home.
Mm-hmm.
I'll obviously assuming you're going with the Broncos this week. You gonna ride with them still?
Let's ride, Russ. I'm gonna keep giving you some chances, man. I'm gonna keep giving you chances. I wouldn't be a fan if I didn't have faith. So go Broncos.
Yep. I am going to roll with the Colts because I have no faith in the Broncos. And I think, like you said earlier this weekend, the only thing Russ is cooking is cereal,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
which is bad. So um, I got the Colts. You got the Broncos. That one. Next one, Giants and Packers. This is going to be a 9:30 a.m. Sunday game in London.
Nice.
Um, I'm going to roll with the Pack. I think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are going to be too much for the Giants this week. What do you think?
I think Saquon's going to have a nice cup of tea after this, and they're going to get a win. The Giants are going to upset them Packers.
That was the worst English accent I think I've ever heard
Well,
in my life.
I'm not from London.
So, all right, so we're disagreeing on that one. I got Packers, you got Giants. Moving in, Steelers, Bills. Steelers lost to the Jets last week. Bills,
Yeah.
obviously, we just talked about, beat the Ravens. Steelers are starting Kenny Two Gloves out there, throwing him out
Ooh,
there.
horrible start.
Um,
Hey, got to
I
learn.
mean, he's we'll see what happens there, but I'm taking the Bills. I think that's a
Bills.
no-brainer on that one.
Yes, sir.
Bills, okay. So
Keep
we
it
agree
going.
on that one. Chargers at Browns. I believe Keenan Allen should be back this week for the Chargers.
I
I
hope
kind
so.
of need him to come back and start doing something because I drafted him in the second round of fantasy. So
Yeah.
I'm going to roll with the Chargers. Although I think Nick Chubb is going to have a pretty good running game because I also have him and need him to keep up with that 20 points a game. But I think the Chargers will outlast the Browns this week. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Lightning's going to strike in Cleveland. Chargers are going to get that win.
I gotcha. So we both agreed on that one. Bears and Vikings, NFC North matchup. It's
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 trash
got to be
versus
the
garbage,
Vikings.
you know?
Yeah, I mean Chicago's awful. I don't know how Minnesota's 3-1. I think we talked about this
Yeah.
last week when they were 2-1. I don't understand it, but whatever.
They're,
I'm rolling with the Vikings because there's no way I'm trusting the Bears. So
I'm going Vikings as well. Vikings.
I got going against your new hometown team once again.
Them show me something better, and I'll pick them.
Yeah, I can appreciate that one. So then we're going Detroit at New England, the Lions and the Patriots. Um, we call Detroit our sleeper playoff team. They've been up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Defense, like we said earlier, has got to come together because Jared Goff and the Rams, the offense looks really good. They just put up 45 points. Now it's against Seattle, but Seattle's defense also held Russell Wilson to 10 points or whatnot earlier in the
Yeah,
year.
10 points.
So I'm going to go with the Lions. Who you got?
I got the Lions as well. I think Mac Jones is out, and Hoyer is hurt as well. So they're on their third backup this week. So I got the Lions winning.
I got you. So we both have the Lions there.
All right, so here we go. We both took the Lions, Seahawks, and Saints. I think Jameis Winston's gonna play. He's got that back injury. Andy Dalton looked pretty good last week. They lost. I think it was the game-winning field goal that Will Lutz hit the double doink.
Yeah,
in
London.
London, in all places. I think I'm gonna go with the Seahawks this week against the Saints. I just think Geno Smith's looking all right.
Yes.
I think the Saints will play better if they play Andy Dalton. I think they're gonna roll Jameis, and I think that the Seahawks are gonna be able to take advantage of that matchup.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. Andy Dalton, I'm sure as a Bengals fan, you have like a love-hate relationship with him, maybe more hate. I don't think he did not age well in the league, whereas Geno Smith is looking like he's aged well in the league. He's finally doing something, and I think the Seahawks will beat the Saints as well.
I agree with you there. We used to have a saying when I had a cousin who had a nickname for Andy Dalton, Primetime Andy Dalton, because he was only good when the lights weren't on. Anytime he was in primetime, primetime Andy Dalton showed up, and it just wasn't good. So
a lot of those quarterbacks going around.
Yeah, one in Louisville.
Yeah. Well, we don't have primetime games. We have you better win games, and we don't.
You had Friday night primetime games, but everyone was out watching high school football those days. So moving on, Dolphins and Jets. Just Zach Wilson looked like garbage.
Yeah.
Teddy B is going to be starting for the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm rolling with Dolphins this week.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Hopefully, I mean, obviously, Louisville guy Teddy. I really hope he does well. But the Jets defense is actually pretty decent. Hopefully, he knows not to go near Sauce Gardner, as I mentioned before. Hopefully, he also realizes he has Jalen Waddle on his team because Jalen Waddle, I think, had maybe one catch when he came in the game, or maybe none. But yeah, utilize Jalen Waddle. He will do great things for you, and you also have Tyreek Hill. He will do great things for you. But I think Dolphins will be too much in the end, and Teddy B will lead them to the promised land.
All right, so we agree there with the Dolphins. Moving on, Falcons and Bucks. Bucks lost last week, pretty convincing fashion to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Falcons
131.
played all right. Honestly, it's kind of a snoozer game. I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I picked the Falcons before, but I think there's reports out that Giselle is throwing divorce papers Tom Brady's way. Um, so
Don't get me
Uh,
started on that whole thing, man.
yeah, so he might be a little just preoccupied this week. The Falcons might not be his number one priority.
Mm,
I'm a roll with the Falcons just because I think Mariota's playing decent.
hmm
A couple weapons around him. Who are you rolling with?
I like Mariota. He's a I won't say he's a great quarterback. I liked him when he was at Oregon. I think he did pretty well when he was with the Titans. Obviously, injuries and he had a lot of interceptions, but I mean the guy can do things and he can get the job done. He just won't get it done against Tom Brady, who he has the fuel of Giselle wanted to divorce him going through his veins, and he's going to throw some bombs. I think he'll have like 5 touchdown passes, and I'm hoping it's to Mike Evans. But we'll see. Hopefully Julio Jones can get a touchdown against the Falcons. That'll be nice to see. But I'm going with the Bucks.
All right, so I took Falcons, you took Bucks. We got Titans, Commanders. There's not much to say. The Titans should win this game through
Yeah.
and through. You rolling with the Titans as well, or
I'm going with Titans as well. I think Derrick Henry showed last week what he can do, and hopefully he continues to do that. But I mean, Washington's no sleeper. They put up a good fight. They put up a good fight this past week. Wentz can still, get you a couple touchdowns, right, with a couple interceptions. But I think Derrick Henry's going to be too much.
yeah, DeWinds can definitely still sling the ball around. It's just whether or not it goes to his own guy or not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so next we got Texans and Jags. Jags have been looking good all year. They lost to Philadelphia,
They are
which
the
is not,
Detroit of the AFC. They are the Detroit
yeah.
of the AFC right now. So
They should win that division hands down this year. So I'm thinking that I'm rolling with the Jags because obviously the Texans aren't much.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a bounce back game. He had a bad game this past weekend, and they still were in the game to win. They went up 14-0 as we mentioned before, but I think he will bounce back this week and have a good game against the Texans.
Yep. Next on tap, 49ers coming off their win last night over the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Defense played really, really well.
Yeah.
They're going up against the Panthers and Baker Mayfield. That honeymoon might be over. That just doesn't. It just never came to what it needed to.
Yeah.
I'm rolling with the Niners. I don't think there's not much hope for the Panthers at this point.
Agreed. I think that marriage never went through once Robbie Anderson said what he said about him and try to cover up. Say, oh, I wasn't talking about him being our quarterback. Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield is not that guy. So Garoppolo's gonna be Garoppolo, and he's gonna get a couple touchdowns to Debo, and Niners will get it done.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Next we've got Cowboys and Rams. Rams look like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
At this point in the year, I'll go ahead and say I don't think they'll make the playoffs if they keep it up like this.
I don't think so either. Yeah.
And the Cowboys are rolling on Cooper Rush. I know there's rumblings that Dak Prescott ready to come back.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to come back. I don't see why you mess with a good thing.
Exactly. Cooper
You
Rush
can
is
wait,
4-0
wait,
right now.
wait till he loses. Wait till he plays bad. I mean, I don't, you're making the same paycheck regardless. So just sit your ass on the bench until it's your time to be called back up there. You're not going to, as much as Jerry Jones talks about quarterback controversy, there's no way in hell no one's going to take Dak with that price tag.
No.
So just roll with both of them. I'm taking the Cowboys over the Rams. What about you?
I think Rush is going to be too much for the Rams. I think he's going to have a good game. Just stay away from Jalen Ramsey. Actually, go to Jalen Ramsey. He got toasted
He's been
last
getting
night.
toasted all damn year.
He got toasted last night. So, hopefully we can see CD Lamb go off against him, have his chance to go against Jalen Ramsey. But Cooper Rush has to be smart with the ball. Get it to Pollard if he's not, seeing anything downfield. And maybe Ezekiel Elliott can actually, have a good game. So we'll see. But I'm going Cowboy. So
What about them Cowboys? Riding with the Cowboys. All right. Next, Eagles and Cardinals. Not much needs to be said there. I think the Eagles stay undefeated this week. Kyler Murray looks like he's ready for that Call of Duty to come out so he can have a weekend off.
man,
Even more so than he's already been taking weekends off. So I've got the Eagles. I think they'll handle their business on the road this week. What about you?
I agree with you. He is ready for Call of Duty to come out. And he is looking like an angry toddler out there when he runs and gets sacked or whatever else he's trying to do out there. It's just not working. I didn't think missing DeAndre Hopkins was going to be this bad for him, but it's so bad. It's, messing with JJ Watt's heart. And thankfully, I mean, man's all right. Praying for him to continue to be healthy, but man, it's messing with everybody on that team.
Yeah, it's definitely not a good scenario for the Cardinals. I think they gave Kyler Murray money too soon. I don't think they have the right coach.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a recipe for disaster, and it showed this year. So they both taking the Eagles. Next game we've got Sunday night Bengals and Ravens. I'm rolling with the Bengals. I think Burrow's going to have a good game. I think the ball's going to get spread around. I think Chase is going to have a touchdown. Higgins is going to have a touchdown. I think Mixon will get one or two on the ground. I think it's going to be the Bengals are. It's going to be Week 5. I think everything's going to flow together. We're going to have the passing game, the running game, and the defense is going to be there. I got the Bengals over the Ravens. You taking Lamar? You rolling with the Bengals? What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go with Lamar, especially with them being at home. They're not losing. They haven't lost to the Bengals at home. The only
They
time they
lost
lost with them,
last year.
the Ravens.
Yes, the Bengals beat the Ravens twice last year.
It says, okay, my bad.
41.
Looking at the wrong year. Yeah, you're right. I think Lamar is going to be too much. I still think Lamar's going to have a bounce back game. He's been looking like MVP Lamar for a reason. Joe Burrow is looking better. If his line keeps him off his back, but I think with the Ravens defensive line hopefully playing a little bit better with Campbell, and now Jason Pierre-Paul is on that line as well. They look good against the Bills. Like I said, it's the number one offense, and they held them to 23 points. Should have been a win if the offense played a little bit better. But I think that defense will be too strong, and Lamar will get it done.
Yeah, I mean, we'll agree to disagree on this game. I think there's cases for both teams and whatnot.
Yeah.
I just think obviously my fandom's I'm gonna roll with my team, so
Yeah.
go with the heart instead of the head on this one. Moving on, last game of the week is gonna be Monday Night Football. Raiders at Chiefs, AFC West matchup. Raiders finally got their first win last week over a divisional opponent in the lowly Broncos, who can't seem to have any offense. At some point, you're going to start throwing shade back in these conversations because I've just been hitting you with it.
Well, I can't when your team's playing as bad as my Cardinals and now my Broncos, I can't really throw too much shade, man. It's just looking bad. It's looking bad for
Yeah,
us.
it'll be on the come up soon.
We'll see. We'll
But
see.
yeah, so we got Raiders, Chiefs. I'm rolling with the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes and that offense looked like Patrick Mahomes and that offense last weekend against the Bucks. And if they can do it against the Bucks, they definitely can do it against the Raiders. So I don't have much more past that for that last game of the week.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to take a page out of my book when I played you in fantasy and get the dub this week. So go Chiefs. There you go.
Go Chiefs. All right. So speaking of fantasy, nice little shot there. It
You're
was a good
welcome.
one.
Thank you.
T&J Sports Podcast Fantasy League is going on. I took a W last week. I'm now sitting at 2-2 on the year. You were also 2-2 on the year.
Took an L this week, man. Sheesh.
Our division is stacked. We have 4 people tied for second at 2-2 this week. So
yeah. It's early. It's early. We can't
it
really.
is early. So but yeah, so we are rolling with that, rolling into week 5. Let's see. If the playoffs started today, it looks like you would be the 4 seed, and I would be the 7 seed. So I still got a lot of work to do to solidify myself up in there, but
Yeah.
we're looking all right in fantasy, at least in our T&J league so far. No, it's early. Past that, I think that ends our week 4 NFL recap. Anything else you want to throw out there?
I'm ready and excited for another great week of football. Whether my team wins or not, I'm just excited to be able to watch some football, man. But the Broncos better to let us, Russ better cook, and we better ride to a W this week.
Yeah, because your week's gonna get started off bad early if they don't pull out the dub on Thursday. So
yeah,
it's time for another Tyrone victory shot.
I know,
So
man. I've been excited to do it, and just none of my teams are winning.
Yeah, so hopefully we get another one of those Tyrone victory shots here soon. NFL, that is it on NFL week 4, guys, and the look into week 5. All I can say is go Bengals, go Broncos for Tyrone, and we will see y'all back next week. Drizzy is signing out.
Tstalls out. Appreciate you all.
See you guys.